You ever heard the phrase, heroes are remembered, but legends never die? Well, certainly true of Total War Warhammer, at least for those in the know. If you know, you know. Recently, actually, Khorne, the old legend of Warhammer 2 Days, one of the best players of all time, in my opinion, if not the best, recently was recognized in a comment section on an unrelated Elden Ring video. Someone recognized him, and he said, not gonna lie, it does feel good to stroke the ego once in a while, which I thought was a very honest and astute observation. That is not the player today. Instead, we got a different XMT legend, Slade X here, coming in with the extremely rare all-Vanguard Tomb Kings, well, mostly Vanguard. He does have some Nehekara Horsemen who are not Vanguard coming in from the front, as well as the Khemerian War Sphinx there, and Arcan the Black Skeleton Horsemen, along with Sepulchral Stalkers in the Vanguard, along with the Tomb Scorpions, double of them, terrifying up on the Chaos Dwarfs, who went quite wide here, a double Death Shriek rocket launcher, some Infernal Guard, Blazing Beards, looks like Hobgoblin Archers as well, turning to shoot, Goblin Laborers defending, and a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. Let's get things rolling. But yeah, just, it's good to be recognized and remembered. Slade is definitely one of the players that over the years has provided some of my particular favorite replays. Just a very all-out style, and definitely some amazing meme builds. See the Scorpions jumping in here. Let's see how they do. Yeah, the Terror kicks in for the Laborers. No surprises there, and they do kind of form a little block for the Sepulchral Stalkers to then fire into. That said, right now, the Horsemen, Skeleton Horsemen, Nehekara Horsemen haven't really landed super effectively yet, but definitely pushing on some different fronts. We've got, Spirit Leech, looks like some different damage being thrown at those Bull Centaurs, probably some of the Sepulchral Stalkers shots as well, just trying to do whatever DPS they can. Obviously a very dangerous unit. The other anti-large component here, the Death Shrieker, you can see that one Sepulchral Stalker trying to dodge a little bit at close range. The Death Shriekers aren't making the best contact there. Multiple missiles kind of overkilling a single model. But the Nehekara Horsemen land here. The Bull Centaur is going to counter collapse. And we've got a big old brawl in the center. Sepulchral Stalkers with their anti-large bonus versus the anti-large of the Great Weapon Bull Centaurs here. But of course, Skeleton Horsemen interrupting. Not allowing a clean engagement, but Eyes of the Desert still hanging around. Ooh, those Death Shriekers, though, even point blank, still firing in, getting some damage on the Sepulchral Stalkers nonetheless. One Tube Scorpion has been pretty much dealt with out on the flank, but nonetheless was able to get enough value to pay for itself, given they're so cheap. Plus the Terror on top of it. It's quite nice. One more Bull Scorpion also fighting alongside the Nehekara Horsemen against the Bull Centaurs. Actually going to be a decent trade, all things considered. The Bull Centaurs don't have the best combat stats in the world. The Nehekara Horsemen have, pretty good combat stats, plus the extra presence of the Scorpion. Meanwhile, Blazing Beards here, going to try and get in, engage these Sepulchral Stalkers, but are having a hard time with their slow speed. Probably better off to just stand back and throw grenades at this point. At least deal with those Sepulchral Stalkers. But yeah, Tomb Kings have successfully dealt with one Bull Centaur render. The other one, it looks like, is also off the field, so... Or no, still over here. All that remains is just to finish off the Death Shriekers, and, I mean, War Sphinx has managed to survive all of this, right? From win condition perspective, obviously anti-large armor piercing, super important here. And some of it being used to good effect, don't get me wrong, the Bull Centaurs probably end up getting some pretty good value. But yeah, Mass Terror kicking in, just not able to hold, as it's going to be a quick victory, but don't go anywhere. I've got more replays to show you from Slade, a couple more actually. Meme games, but let's finish things up here. As Tomb Scorpion actually gets chopped down, but Sepulchral Stalkers succinctly end the game by blasting away what remained of the Bull Centaurs, who, again, respectable performance. Didn't necessarily get amazing value, but pretty good. And the Death Shriekers actually didn't do much, I'm surprised. I guess the Sepulchral Stalkers really didn't take as much damage as I had maybe initially thought, but yeah, War Sphinx comes in, does pretty good damage. Both the Doom Scorpions, although they both die, they do pay for themselves, so nice to see good performance out of them. Yeah, overall, just a very fun meme game. So without further ado, let's go to the next one. Wouldn't be a true Slate replay without some Greenskins shenanigans, and here we are in the jungles with the sneaky gobos, and quite the selection of artillery against the dreaded Thunder Barge from the dwarfs. Yeah, we've got Doom Diver, Hammer of Gork, Regiment of Renowned Rock Lobber, and Regiment of Renowned Bolt Throwers, the Death Thrower. Very nice. Looks like Biggin as well, Rogue Idol, just to finish off the artillery Thanos Gauntlet with Greenskins. We've also got a couple Squig Herds over on the far side. On the near side, Night Goblin Warboss leading a band of Night Goblins, including more Regiments of Renown and a Night Goblin Shaman. We've got some more Squig Hoppers here, Dirkit Squigs. Yeah, we can see already fermented fungi being used on the gyrocopters, plus the range damage is enough to pull them down onto the ground. And, yeah, a good way of dealing with one of these ranged units, at least. You can see the Thunder Barge kind of standing off at a distance. It's going to be peppered quite significantly with missiles. Already has taken a huge amount of damage, actually, as all the artillery has been focused on it. And, I mean, there's, you know, several thousands of points worth of artillery. I would hope they'd be able to do some pretty significant damage, especially with that. But Sundered Armor, oh, it is going down. Just thousands and thousands of HP disappearing in a very satisfying way. And there it is. Probably one of the quickest demises of the Thunder Barge I've seen to ground-based range units. So that's quite impressive. Fanatics unleashed through the front line as well in a very cinematic moment as these lines clash. Well, should be actually a decently cost-effective engagement for the Night Goblins against Slayers. Definitely outmatch them. The Slayers will, I should say. But nonetheless, still trade decently cost-effective. Night Goblins, obviously much cheaper. But the rest of the build here, yeah, you can see the Squig Hoppers, or Squig Herds, rather, emerging for the wood. Squig Hoppers as well. They get on those Trollhammer torpedoes. Shut them down in an instant. Cannons also being threatened here, and now Grombrindle comes forward. Some of the guns going to try and get in position, but one thing is Slade took the engagement from the Vanguard position here in such a way that this cliff is giving him a nice defensive capability, kind of an anchor against, you know, troops advancing on his missiles. Does kind of force these guns into an awkward situation. They don't really have great firing lanes to fire up into these positions here. And relatively quickly, we're going to see things cascade against the dwarves. Who would have thought? Bring a thrower to a gunfight, and you just win. Very impressive stuff. Oof, the shotguns, though. Those Grim Delvers. Doing some pretty significant damage. First the Bad Moon, though. Love to see it. I don't know if I've seen this new VFX that much, but absolutely beautiful. Does some damage and a nice little debuff as well, if there was anything to follow up with that melee attack, or melee defense and armor debuff, rather. Be pretty effective, but nonetheless, fun spell to see. Grombrindle's back here, managed to deliver some justice to the Night Goblin Shaman, but, of course, Biggin hangs nearby and is going to come change the situation a little bit here. Yeah, Grombrindle has no fear, of course. Runax of Grombrindle as well. Yeah, able to just dispatch the Shaman with absolute impunity. Prejudice, or whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, at this point, just the guns pretty much remaining. Eventually, Grombrindle will, in fact, feel the fear. And at that point, we'll realize he's in some pretty significant trouble. Keep in mind, as well, that the Hammer of Gork does apply blinded on contact. So, yeah, you can see the Grim Delver's combat stats just absolutely in the pits with that blinded effect active. And it's another quick victory for Slade. Beautifully done. Very fun stuff. I know the Thunder Barge isn't what it used to be. Definitely not as threatening. But nice to see that faction that lacks range units almost completely. I mean, really just like flying units, rather. They definitely have ranged in spades, and that's what got the job done. Was able to do it, they say. Yeah, the rest of the build here, I mean, Dirkit Squigs, other Squig Hoppers did a pretty decent job. Most of the range units are going to get some very nice value, which we do see mostly across the board. Wow, less on the, I guess a lot of that damage was actually done by the Rusty Airs. Maybe less on the artillery than I would have thought. The Def Throwers, they definitely got some very solid damage. 1,500 gold value on them, but yeah, overall fun stuff. Let's got one more replay from Slade, so sit tight. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Let's get to it. And for the finale of this three-part, It's got to be Khorne, of course, and a very honorable Khorne versus Dark Elves, both bringing elite heavy cavalry. Then Khorne with some more heavy cavalry to back it up, whereas the Dark Elves backed up with some Sisters of Slaughter. They've got a Bloodbrack Medusa as well. Malekith up in the sky, and then the Dread Knights on the opposite side. Skull Crushers, including the Regiment Renown. Heralds of Khorne's Fury, plus a couple more Chaos Knights with lances. And Herald of Khorne. But let's see. Oh, the Knights of the Brazen Throne. They're just going to absolutely melt those Sisters of Slaughter. Even a relatively high defense unit in terms of their melee defense. Not a lot of armor, but still, they just get absolutely lawnmowered. That is a very expensive unit to be taking such amounts of damage. And we see a Soul Stealer popping off. Obviously, the magic resistance of Khorne should shrug off a little bit of that, but yeah, the Dread Knights do also pile in here now to this engagement. Let's see, Malekith's going to pop Stand Your Grounds. They get at least some melee defense to help shrug off this Savage Khorne assault. Knights with lances charging slightly downhill. They are very, very large boys, so it's going to be hard for them to saturate in on this engagement. But let's see here. Red Knights definitely significantly outvalued here, and you can see they're taking massive amounts of damage. Malekith's not really adding his recompense, his amount of value, you could say. Yeah, let's see here. Looks like Khorne's able to mostly just envelop, as the Sisters of Slaughter might as well have not even existed in this fight. They were more or less no help at all. This one actually might be getting a tiny bit of damage in. But, yeah, like 250 damage so far out of multiple thousands of gold worth of Sisters of Slaughter. That is just very painful right from the outset. And the Herald can get in here with all his cav support and do a fine job of dealing with Malekith. Plenty of armor piercing and just high overall damage units in the surround here. See, Malekith's not really fighting the Herald, just trying to disengage if he can, but very quickly gets bursted down, and it's going to be army losses in less than 3 minutes. There you go. Another fun and quick one, and yeah, love to see it. The Knights of the Brazen Throne, and just in general, the Skull Crushers, Heavy Cavalry of Khorne, definitely more than a match for Sisters of Slaughter. Sisters of Slaughter, probably one of the worst units in the game right now, to be honest. There's not really a lot of matchups I would advocate for taking them in. And here, they definitely don't do anything. I think you would have been much better served to just go with a Staunch Line of Spears. Even against, like, a regular Khorne build, I don't think these Sisters of Slaughter really do anything for you at all. But nonetheless, a fun one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all three of those. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.